turnover chains, turnover chains, turnover chains.
That's what I'm talking about. Enough of this, because what the hell is this?
I can make money from the comfort of my sofa. So much drive, I gotta get.
And to all those Gator fans that thought they were so funny doing the little this, if you gonna mock our hand symbol, at least do it right, because I don't know what the hell this is.
He get a turnover chain. See me, homie, get the pick up. He get a turnover chain, turnover chain.
But anyways, what a sensational start to the football season for your Miami Hurricanes as they go into Gainesville and bring the buzzsaw and dominate the Florida Gators 41-17. Now, I will say, going into the game, I was a bit nervous because over the last few years, I rightfully so have no reason to believe in the Miami Hurricanes whatsoever. I don't care that they were ranked 19th. I don't care that the Gators were unranked and the Hurricanes were a 2.5-point favorite today on the road. I don't care about none of that because I remember being hyped going into Alabama with Derek King, and we heard he was the next best thing, and I was ready for finally a great season. We got a quarterback, and the Miami Hurricanes got their ass kicked. Now, I know that was Alabama. This is Florida. Things are a little bit different, but still, when you start the season off with a huge game and not some cupcake, it's really a tone-setting game for the rest of the season. You want to go in there and not only get a win, you want to look well. And the Miami Hurricanes, that's an understatement for what they did today. Just an absolutely dominating performance that I'm super excited for. I want to start by talking about Cam. Y'all smell that? What the hell? It smells like MVP in here. It smells like Heisman, because that's what Cam Ward is. The boy today, 385 yards, 3 tutties, and 1 pick. Good God, the man was 26 of 35. That is the definition of efficiency. I will say also, obviously as the Canes fans, we've been snake bitten a lot by all kinds of hype and hope and prospects and high recruiting classes that turn into nothing, especially from the quarterback position. Because in my lifetime, even shorter than my lifetime, let's go to the last 5-10 years, there's been so many times I've heard the phrase, oh, this guy's a great quarterback for Miami. So-and-so, whether it was Mark Richt or Mario Cristobal, they got a good one. We heard that with Tate Martell, who turned into a bum. We've heard that with Derek King, who was decent at times. He wasn't as bad as some of the other guys, but there was a lot of hype around Jake Garcia. Even if you want to go further back to Ja'Cory Harris, who was also fine. But none of those guys really turned into exactly what you hoped for. Even Tyler Van Dyke, who I saw had a terrible game today. I forget what the hell school he's with, but he was not good today. He was great as a freshman. We heard he was going to have some Heisman buzz into the next season, and he sucked too. So going into this game today, I was very annoyed of all the hype I heard around Cam Ward. They're trying to anoint him as the next savior of the Hurricanes. Let him play a game first. Can we see him on the field once before, for the Hurricanes, before we start saying he's the Heisman and the savior of this team? And to start the game, he was okay. He threw across his body a couple times, not a couple bad decisions. That's where he did have the one interception that he had today. But man, I think it was late in the second half, going into that third quarter maybe, he had just a sensational drive where he might have found Restrepo for a long game. Then he found Jacoby George in the end zone, rolling out of the pocket, a mobile quarterback. When's the last time a Miami team has had a mobile quarterback like that? I guess Derek King too. He was decent here actually, but seeing Cam Ward throw on the run was just a breath of fresh air for a Hurricanes fan, but just a Miami football fan in general. And he really, and in that second half, or when he finally started that drive to really kind of sort of put the game away, the Gators kind of went away after that. I think it might have been like 10-10 at one point after the Hurricanes had a bad interception, and then the Canes might have went down. But really, it was after that the Canes really got things going. They got a great drive before half, I remember, to kind of go up 7, and then they might have also scored to start the second half. So basically, they kind of did step on the Gators' throats and never really looked back. So as far as a nail-biter game or intense, it really was none of that. It was kind of, we kind of already knew the result from very early on. Now, being the fact that we have Mario Cristobal, you never know if a team could blow a lead. But as my dad brought up a good point, there's maybe 2 coaches in the entire world that would blow a lead this big, at least in college football. And it's probably Mario Cristobal and Billy Napier on the Gators side, because obviously I follow a lot of Gators fans as well. and they hate the bum on their coaching staff over there. So he doesn't seem like such a great guy either. But anyways, back to Cam Ward. Made some really incredible throws when he really started to put the Gators away. And that is when he truly looked special for the first time today. And I saw the vision. I saw what all this hype has been about. He looked awesome. Putting the ball on a rope. It was on a string, darts to guys. And it is nervous, his throwing style, because he's got a little of that Pat Mahomes creativity to him. I don't know why I just compared those two, but y'all saw the sidearms today, the overhand. It's nervous because it makes me nervous because Pat Mahomes can do that. He's earned that right. But when you got a new quarterback that's coming in and he's not doing all the proper mechanics, it is a little nerve-wracking. But it was nice. He was able to create a lot of great angles and tough angles to try to find his open man by doing that little sidearm pass. And that's a very difficult skill to have, along with the rolling out. Showed great accuracy today, great power on the ball. Super excited from Cam Ward after this first game. And that's really what I wanted to see as a Canes fan. I mean, it's been a depressing life being a Canes fan, really. I mean, I was born in 98, so obviously they had a couple good teams when I was very young, too young to remember. And then pretty much my whole lifetime, they've been stinky. You know, I was very, very excited during the early turnover chain years, particularly the first and second year. They were very good, leading the league in turnovers. Then once they kind of started to suck, I hated the turnover chain at that point. I hated the touchdown rings. I was glad they got rid of all that. But for those 1 or 2 years when they were decent, you know, before they lost to Pitt, I think is the game they finally lost. That's only the really time I've been, I guess, truly excited as a Hurricanes fan. Back with Stephen Morris, was it? And I was at the game at Tallahassee when he threw the touchdown pass to Darrell Langham. And you had, who else? You had Jaquan Johnson, Shaquille Quarterman. That was such a fun group of guys. Trajan Bandy's pick 6 versus Notre Dame. That's like the only good times I've had as a Hurricanes fan. And that was, I mean, how long ago are we talking? At least 6-7 years ago? Has it been that long already? So, yeah, I've had no excitement. So coming in, especially these last few years, losing Middle Tennessee, losing FIU, it got to the point where I was not making a priority to watch every game. I was getting bored during games. I was tuning out, rightfully so, because they were not putting an exciting product on the TV. I want to get back into Canes football so desperately bad. Or I want to be excited about it because I'll always watch the games. I'll always keep up. You know, we usually talk Heat on this channel, but I'm a Heat guy, I'm a Dolphins guy, and I'm a Canes guy. I know I'm wearing the basketball shirt today, but basketball and football for the Canes, more so football. But anyways, I wanted to have some excitement about it today. And I said, we will be able to tell after today's game if this team would be worth watching. And the answer to that question is a resounding yes. And a lot of that is because of Cameron Ward. Shout out to Xavier Restrepo, who just had a great game today. You knew he was going to be the main favorite target of Cameron Ward after having a pretty nice season last year as well. Finished the game with 7 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. My guy, Jacoby George, also caught a touchdown of his own. Those were the two guys I was most excited to see. But really, Cam Ward spread the ball around a ton. 89 yards for Elijah Arroyo. Isaiah Horton got 70 yards in on the action. And shout out to these running backs. Damian Martinez is a beast. They said the boy was like 230, big body, 65 yards for him today on 15 carries. So over 4 yards on the average there. And then obviously Mark Fletcher, who we like, did his thing as well. Apparently this Jordan Lyle guy was one of the highest recruited running backs in the nation. So they got a nice roster for sure. And I don't like talking about nice roster on paper, high recruiting classes, because that is all we've heard for several years, right? Whether it was Mark Richt, who was a great recruiter. They say Mario Cristobal is also a sensational recruiter. But what is it translated to? And I'm not saying, oh, they should have won last year or the year before. I understand you got to give it some time to get these recruits in, let them grow. You're not going to win everything as a freshman, and you got to give it some time. But until it happens, until they stop losing to these pitiful teams, I do not want to hear anything about how great the recruiting classes are that Mario Cristobal has gotten. Because I hated Mario Cristobal last year. I thought he was a bum. I knew he was a bum very early on in his Canes tenure. We all know, most people started to agree with me when he didn't kneel the ball last year and they blew that game. And even to end today's game, Mario Cristobal still ran a couple plays. He did not kneel the ball. Now, you were not in risk of losing this game, but all that can happen from running a play when there's under 2 minutes left and the game is out of hand is for guys to get hurt. There is no reason to run a play. Mario Cristobal needs to learn how to tell his team to take a knee, and it's going to cost him a game eventually, again. But besides that, Cristobal also did nothing else today to make me like him more. He did not know how to use his timeouts at all, even though they got some fancy schmancy clock management coach now, which I think is necessary, but clearly it didn't work very well. Cristobal's calling timeouts before they're about to punt the ball on 4th down. Why the hell are you calling a timeout to punt? You could have used that timeout to maybe slow things down in the first half if they didn't end up scoring so quick like they did. So it all worked out, but you still should have had that timeout in your back pocket. Because even if you take a delay of game on a punt, you move back 5 yards, you're punting. It doesn't matter, Mario. He just continues to be an absolutely idiotic coach. But anyways, I could go on and on. The next game they do play is, I think, next Saturday versus... Who is the next game? Let me look up the Hurricane schedule. I know they got the Ball State the week after that, but I remember seeing they play 6 p.m. next week versus... Gave me the hockey team Hurricane schedule. It's Florida A&M, of course, next week. So they got another in-state rival. So it'll be a good one. Beat up some of these bad teams. I guess you got Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, Cal. So they got several winnable games coming up, but I guess I shouldn't jump the gun because knowing the Miami Hurricanes, you can never chalk up anything as a W because you never know. But this was arguably a very exciting game. I'm still a little bit excited now. I'm getting this video out late because I was at a little watch party with my sister at her place, but I wanted to come home and celebrate a little bit with y'all. So make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. I'll be coming probably with whatever Heat news comes out and Dolphins games coming up. Right now, I'm just kind of chilling, talking about what is relevant because I don't want to force out content there that nobody cares about. And I also want to prepare myself for a long, grueling NBA season we have coming up in just a few short months. But I'll see y'all in the next video. So peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.